Hello everybody. I am making my first video back from experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, both horrible and shitty and worse and great. So here we are back to Tunes 91. And what better way to make a video than to be supporting one of my favorite fragrance aficionados and friends, Ashton Kirkland, who, if you don't know him, which if you don't know him, you're living under a rock probably, he is the creator behind the YouTube channel Gents, and he has created his own line called Galleria Parfums, and they will be launching fairly soon. The concept behind Galleria Parfums in a nutshell is essentially that each fragrance is supposed to be its own art piece in a gallery. So each fragrance is its own art piece, and he was going into this whole endeavor with the concept that fragrance is art. So it's not, coming off as a cash grab or a sense of mainstream perfumery, but really he just wanted to make fragrances that he himself would like to smell and that are a little bit more unique than what we're used to and the fragrances that have been released in the last few years. So that all being said, I am super, super excited. I'm super happy for my friend Ashton, and I hope that he experiences nothing but success in this endeavor, and I hope that you all put all that nonsense away that YouTubers can't create their own fragrance line at this point in this particular juncture, because I feel like if anyone could create a fragrance lineup that becomes popular and utilizes good, well quality made ingredients and has good performance and good presentation and all that, it'd be those of us that have experienced 5-10 years of thousands upon thousands of fragrances that we've gotten our noses on and have been consumers ourselves. I mean, what better way to create a brand than starting from the ground up with basically utilizing this set of your wardrobe or your fragrance journey that you've experienced up until this point. So anyone who wants to be a naysayer, I see you. Take a seat. So I got this package in the mail. It's not even open yet. So Ashton was gracious enough to ask me if I would like to check out his line. Thank you very much for sending your fragrances to me. I'm just happy to get my nose on them and to support you in whatever way I can. But that being said, I'm positive, I know he knows this too, that you can all assure yourselves that I'm going to be 100% transparent and honest about what I think about these fragrances. Ashton is one of the nicest, most humble people that I've met, especially in Fragcom. And again, I wish him nothing but success. But that doesn't mean that I'm not, gonna be critical of something if I don't like it or I feel that it's of lesser quality than another fragrance or whatever the case is. I'm sure that that's not going to be the case because I know how much effort and time he put into this line, and I know that all the perfumers that are behind each fragrance have quite the resume. So yeah, the bottles are gorgeous too, by the way. So presentation alone, 10 out of 10. They look freaking beautiful. And without any further ado, let's break into this package and check her out. This is why the Grinch hated Christmas, because all the Christmas presents that he ordered from Amazon or USPS or whatever were just so incredibly difficult to get into. Round 2. All right, so beautiful. Let's start with, I can't even read them because they're wrapped like this. So we're essentially just gonna fly off the cuff with this. And this is kind of how I told him I was going to be presenting this video, because I didn't want anyone to have any predisposition that I would be lying just because I like Ashton and I like his channel and etc. and the friendship and all that other shit, you know, just shit people say. So we're doing it this way. All right, first one up is Shades of Seduction, and I'm positive that, you know, my phone is not going to do this justice. Shades of Seduction. The perfumers behind Shades of Seduction, I believe, are Lucas Suzak and Orlof Larsen. So I'm not testing this on strips. I have just taken a fresh shower, and I have no fragrance on other than what I'm going to be testing tonight, and that's the way I wanted to do it, so that I could get a good representation of what this will smell like on skin. Now, one thing is for sure, I don't have a note breakdown of any of these fragrances, so I'm purely going based on what I smell and what the representation is painted in my head of what is supposed to be going on in these fragrances. Shades of Seduction is definitely a fragrance that I can liken to sort of a Mancera's Red Tobacco a little bit. I think that this is definitely way better quality than Red Tobacco. And this is not as juvenile as Red Tobacco, but there's something in this that definitely reminds me of Red Tobacco. And Shades of Seduction, I think, if I'm correct, the main player is maybe cardamom. I'm definitely picking up maybe like a cardamom light tobacco type of scent, or cardamom and vanilla, that may be kind of melding together the vanilla and the spicy notes to make almost a tobacco-like quality. I think that Shades of Seduction is definitely a fragrance that's worth utilizing for going out on the town, whether if it's some, you know, aesthetically pleasing restaurant with dim lights, or if it's, you know, for some bar hopping endeavor, or if it's for the club. I think this is incredibly unisex, and it's definitely something that's along the lines of a people pleaser. It's very sexy. I really like that. So we're off to a good start. Shades of Seduction. Yeah. Sign me up. All right, the next fragrance that I'm going to be trying out here next up is Moving Times. Moving Times. This one is the one that I'm probably most excited for. This one, well, there's two others as well. I'm excited for all of them. I'm just excited to be able to try them, and that he's been able to create this brand. But I am a huge fan of Mason Francis Kurkdjian. Grand Soir is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and one of my most utilized fragrances in the last, 4 years. And fragrances like Lumiere Noir Pour Homme, A Piece of Me Pour Homme was one of my signature scents for a couple years. I'm just a huge fan of Mason Francis Kurkdjian, and I'm a big fan of Ashton, so seeing what the two could bring to the table together, you bet your bottom dollar I'm excited. Let's get this bad boy on. Okay. This definitely smells like a Mason Francis Kurkdjian creation. Wow, okay. Yeah, so one thing that is for certain when it comes to Mason Francis Kurkdjian, when he does a clean fragrance, boy does he do it well. This beautiful citrus, almost like clean cotton-esque type vibe to it. Very much like a white linen is what I'm getting as far as aesthetic or color. And mixed with like some honey note, maybe some tonka bean, honey, cotton, citrus. yeah, that's really, really pleasant. I like that a lot. Moving Times by Mason Francis Kirchin. Well, Moving Times was created by Mason Francis Kirchin, but I think if you're a fan of most of MFK's work, you'll definitely, or yeah, Francis Kirchin's work, you'll definitely be a fan of this. It's a little bit interesting too, because I'm not sure if there's like a T note in there or not, but there's a bit of a rubbery vibe, like a black tea rubbery vibe that I'm getting as well, which makes it a little bit more interesting too. So yeah, Moving Times. It's another winner. Okay. Next up is probably the one that I am personally most excited for. Okay. This is called Cognac Cafe. Now, this fragrance is made by Sidonia Lancesor. I'm so sorry that I'm butchering some of the names. But she's made some Killian fragrances, notably the ever so popular Black Phantom. And you know, I think that she definitely does gourmand well. This is a boozy, cognac. Boozy caramel. That's basically what I'm getting out of the top notes. Just a very, very refined, sexy, boozy caramel with maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a hazelnut coffee or a caramel coffee type vibe rather than your black coffee or your burnt sugar coffee vibe, which you get a lot of. So yeah, it's a really good like caramel latte type fragrance with a nice heavy dose of cognac. Definitely probably my favorite one so far. It is right up my alley. I love gourmands, I love coffee-based fragrances, I love boozy fragrances, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Next up, this is ASMR bubble wrap with Gents. How many of you just got really, really uncomfortable? Me too. Next up we have By the Yuzu Grove. Now, By the Yuzu Grove, I'm pretty sure that this is another Lucas Suzak and Orloff Larson fragrance. And to be honest with you, Yuzu has never been a favorite note of mine, so I'm definitely going to go into this not expecting to love it, just because it's personally not my taste. The main fragrance that I can think of right off the bat that utilizes Yuzu, and a lot of it, is L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake, which I absolutely loathe. I cannot stand it. But we will see. I'm here to give this fragrance all of the attention and praise that it deserves if it's a fragrance that's going to win me over for the note of Yuzu. But even if I don't like it, I'll certainly tell you whether or not I feel like it is something that you should look into if you like Yuzu or those freshy, citrusy based fragrances. So let's go up here. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, that is bright, 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 bright. Right off the bat, I'm not sure if it's the yuzu note, but the opening is very bright citrus, and it comes across as kind of like a grapefruit lemony vibe. And I really, really like that. That's kind of in the same vein as something like a Terre d'Hermes Eau Très Fresh, Frederic Mall's Big Red Concentré, just that really tart citrus that comes across as being wonderfully utilized in the really hot, humid summer heat. I think that that will definitely be a winner for those hot days that you're feeling like wearing something transparent and invigorating and uplifting. Next we have Dusk to Dawn. Dusk to Dawn. Not from dusk till dawn, which I'm sure you're gonna hear that quite a bit from a lot of people. that know what the movie is. But I'm a huge fan of that movie. It's self-aware, and it's good fun. Dust to Dawn is composed by Bertrand Duchefort, who is a master. He is a master perfumer, and there's no other way to look at it. He's just incredible. His resume is insanely good. Wow. This might be my favorite one. Wow, that is different. That's like a, I don't know. This is like a, I don't know if it's like orange, blood orange, some kind of almost candied orange. With a little bit of like there's like something in there that's like a little tiny bit animalic. With a little tiny bit of sweetness. It almost comes off as like a dirty, liquor infused sweet orange with maybe like a tinge of tonka bean or something. Oh my gosh, that is really, really nice. I like that a lot. And in fact, I haven't really smelled anything like that. That's pretty unique. Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite one so far. All right, next up is Victorian Tobacco. This was definitely another one that I was super, super excited for. As you guys probably all know, I am a huge fan of tobacco fragrances. They do it for me. They trip my trigger. We have room over here on my right wrist. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Victorian Tobacco was composed by Jorge Lee. That is a pretty unique tobacco. I think it smells a lot more like, yeah, that's good. That's got some freshness to it. Almost like a dew-ridden tobacco leaf. Oh man, that's got a lot of freshness to it on my skin actually right off the bat. This is definitely more of a tobacco leaf fragrance, I think. It's not really pipe tobacco. It's not sticky sweet. It's not, cigarette smoke tobacco. It's not pipe tobacco. It's not sticky sweet cigar tobacco. It's like the tobacco leaf, but like really fresh, really fresh. God, that's good. There is like, I don't know, it comes across as maybe like a black currant or a rhubarb type note. There's like a tartness that kind of comes off as like, there's like a juicy fruit that's very tart with the greenness of the tobacco leaf, and it just comes across as being like very, very fresh. That might be my new favorite, because it's not little even, it's a lot different of a tobacco route than I've ever seen happen before, and I'm here for it. I really like it a lot. Yeah, Victorian Tobacco. I feel like that's a fragrance that you could utilize all year long and in any kind of, situation. It's like a signature scent worthy type fragrance. Really dig that. Last but not least, our lone bubble wrapped atomizer. We have Dreamwoods by Mr. Bertrand Duchefort. So, right here on my arm is what's available. Dreamwoods. Okay, right off the bat. Wow. Okay. Dreamwoods has mint in it, that's for sure. And I freaking love mint. Love mint. Dreamwoods is a minty fragrance that has that blue element that you find in Bleu de Chanel. It very much, in my mind, it combines like some spice. There's a little bit of spicy element in there, like a tinge of it, with this very cool blue color that I get. With the mint kind of being up front and center. Yeah, I really like that one a lot too. That's good. That is good. That would be a really great, another really great signature fragrance, or at the very least something that would be great to use for casual, everyday use for spring and for summer. So going back and smelling them all again, I let them all settle on my skin for like 10 minutes. And there's a couple that aren't necessarily up my alley, just in terms of like what I'm drawn to. But I will tell you this, Dusk to Dawn is incredibly unique, and I really, really like it a lot. So that's something that I may consider getting a full bottle of. That's really good. There's like leather. There's leather in that too. The leather, it took a little while for it to kind of develop on my skin, but Dusk to Dawn, the closest thing that I can kind of compare it to is in terms of leather fragrances is Lone Star Memories by Andy Tower. And if you're familiar with that fragrance, it's a wonderful, wonderful take on leather, and one of my personal favorites that I've been questioning whether or not I should pick up in the year of 2020. But it has that vibe to it, that rugged leather that is kind of rounded out by some citrus, and I really, really like that. That's probably my second favorite out of the line. I think my first favorite is Victorian Tobacco, because that's such a different take on tobacco. It's like a tobacco leaf and blonde tobacco combination. There's a lot of freshness to it. And it's very like, it's very refined, and it's very upper scale. You could definitely wear like a suit with a crisp shirt. I just envision someone like in a heather gray suit with a crisp shirt, and kind of like in South America or something. Really, really dig that a lot. Wow, okay, well, those have been my first impressions of Galleria Parfums, the brand, the fragrances, by my good friend Ashton, and I think that you should hop on board with definitely checking out his fragrances and supporting, the artist's vision, so to speak, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. This is definitely a different route than what I've seen a lot of people take, and even in the niche world in general. It's just, there's quite a few fragrances sprinkled throughout this line that utilize a note that you would think was going to go in a different direction. The tobacco, for example, and even the Cognac Cafe, the Dusk to Dawn with the leather and it being kind of a fresh fragrance. I think that there's a lot to be said with this line, and there's definitely at least something, or probably inevitably a couple, that everyone out there is going to enjoy. So that being said, Ashton, thank you so much again for sharing your fragrances with me, and I'm very excited for you, and I hope that it becomes a very lucrative experience for you, full of happiness and joy, and thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye, guys.